What's up, everybody? Well, today we wanted to do something special. We wanted to do a PCOS podcast. That was the best name I could come up with.
That works.
That works. That works. The PCOS podcast. So, I wanted to bring some women together to converse about polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I don't know, we could be like a support for each other and for other people, share our stories. Maybe for those who don't know it, maybe we can bring about awareness for those who don't know anything about it. And that's it. So I'm going to start with Monique. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. And on the line, we have Sakina.
Hello.
And then we have my aunt, Corinne.
It sounds so funny every time you say that. They're probably like, are you like the same age?
I know. We laugh about it all the time, but it's the truth.
It's true.
So we're going to start off with discussing when did you first find out about your diagnosis with polycystic ovarian syndrome?
Whew.
Right. Sakina, you want to start since you had the first reaction?
So I initially found out when I was 19, but I didn't know what they were saying. She basically was just like, well, you don't ovulate as much as the normal person. You probably ovulate maybe once or twice a year. And that's all she said. And then when I was 23, I actually went to the doctors, and I was in McGee, and I was looking at this book, and it had PCOS in it, and I read all about it. And then when I got called back, that's when they confirmed that I actually had PCOS. So that was when I was 23, which was 2008. There was initial diagnosis.
Okay. Oh, wow. So they just started you out with like, you don't ovulate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like, what caused them to say that to you?
I was having, when I started out with my periods, I would have 10-day periods every month, and then eventually they start skipping months. So when they start skipping months, I would go to the doctors. I went to the doctor, and they were like, that's when they told me about the ovulation.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Monique, what's your story? Like, when did you first find out about polycystic ovarian syndrome?
Actually, Sakina was the first person that mentioned it to me, and I figured that's probably what I had because of the symptoms that I had, but I wasn't like diagnosed with it until like 2 years ago.
Okay.
But when I was like 16, my mom made me go to the doctors because I guess she thought I was pregnant. But it was because I didn't have normal periods, and my periods were like super irregular, and they still are to this day. But it was about 2 years ago when the doctor was like, yeah, you have PCOS. And I was like, okay. I figured that much already, since I would have most of the symptoms that they say that is, in connection with PCOS. It's like the irregular periods, and the darkness around your neck, and the extra hair, and all those not so fun symptoms. But yeah, that's when I found out about it about 2 years ago.
All right. Auntie, what's up? How did you first find out about this?
I want to say it was a few years after Chris and I had got together. We had got serious about trying to have a kid, and I had went to the doctor, and I was explaining to her, like, well, okay, so I forgot introduced to it when we and him first started trying to have a kid. But see, I had came on my cycle at a very young age, like at 10. But like my periods came back to back at the time. Like it seemed like I was on a period like all month long. Like it just like was constantly like 2 weeks long. Like, and then I'll go like on a break and then I'm back on it. So my mom eventually got me on birth control freshman year to regulate them. So then I got off of birth control, and Chris and I was trying to have a kid. So I told them, I said, well, but at that time my periods were coming like every other month, every 2 months. They were skipping now. And she was asking me questions because, there's not really a test for it. They just ask you what symptoms you have, and then that's how they diagnose you. So, and then she was like, well, I'm going to send you to a specialist at Ohio State, make sure it's not your thyroid. And she said, but I think you have PCOS. So then when I went to Ohio State, she checked my thyroid, and she said, I don't want you to feel embarrassed. She said, but what do you do about the facial hair? Like, and I was like, I shave it. and she was like, she said, that's okay. She said, I'm in agreement with your, your family doctor. I think you have PCOS too. So that's when I first found out about it, or whatnot. But, and then now that I'm looking back at it, like I noticed certain symptoms my mom had too. And I don't even think she knew she had it, but like she had facial hair and things like that too. So like it could run in the family, I'm not sure, but that's when I had first heard about it when I was trying to have a kid. So yeah. And now my periods are irregular again. Like they regulated after I had Lovely, which it took like 9 years for us to have Lovely. So they regulated like maybe 2 years after having her, but now they're back skipping again, like every 3 months, every 4 months. So
when you have them, they like long periods or like average?
Sometimes they're average, sometimes they're like 8, 9 days, 10 days. Like I can run through a whole pack of pads in like one cycle. Depends.
So I just found out I had it probably about 2 or 3 years ago myself. I was always like, I was dealing with facial hair, which was something I dealt with since I was a little girl. But it started to get to a point where it was like almost unmanageable. And so I had even went and did laser hair removal surgery. So it went away for some time, but then it started to come back like with a nuisance. And I'm like, okay, with a vengeance. It was like, we're here, okay? And I'm like, I don't know what to do about this. So I spoke to my doctor, and she was she gave me some hormonal pills, but then she started putting some things together. Like I was in my 30s, I had never been pregnant. At that point, I had just been diagnosed as pre-diabetic. And then, you add in the facial hair stuff. So she was like, she's like, I think it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. I was like, what is that? So she had me go and get an ultrasound, and then that's what it ended up being. So now, since we shared our PC,
I'm sorry. Did they do the full panel blood work on you when you did that, or was it just the ultrasound?
I just had an ultrasound from what I remember.
Okay.
I don't remember like a full panel. I don't remember any extra like blood work or anything. Could have been. Okay. I'd have to go back. It's been a couple years now. Since we shared our stories with how we first got it, I'm gonna read to the folks, to our viewers, of what it actually is. It says polycystic ovarian syndrome is a hormonal disorder common among women of reproductive age. Women with PCOS may have infrequent or prolonged menstrual periods or excessive male hormone levels. The ovaries may develop numerous small collections of fluid. and fail to regularly release the eggs. And I'm gonna read some of the symptoms. Oh, well, this is some of the main causes. The exact cause of PCOS is not known. Most experts think that several factors, including genetics, may play a role. So that's that. And let me see. I was looking for the symptoms. Let me type it in, because I know we all have different symptoms going on. And then we can kind of share. I mean, we kind of shared some of them. So common symptoms usually are irregular periods or no period at all. Difficulty getting pregnant because of irregular ovulation or failure to ovulate. Excessive hair growth, usually on the face, chest, back, or buttocks. Weight gain, thinning hair or hair loss from the head. And then the other one it says is oily skin or acne.
I have oily skin myself.
Did you have, you dealt with the,
I got oily skin, and also I got thinning hair like in the middle of my head too. So I have to wear my hair certain ways.
so people don't know.
Yeah, to like hide that part, but yeah.
That's actually why I went natural.
Me too.
Because my
I thought it was
my hair was thinning.
relaxers. Yeah, I thought it was relaxers, and I've been natural like 7-8 years now, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's not that.
Yeah. See, I have the exact opposite. Super dry skin and super extra hairiness. Like, for no reason.
right. Just
I'm
oil.
like,
I'll put on makeup. I'll be blind. Like, this is stupid.
it's so many little minor annoyances. It's like, bruh, would you just chill? Like, it's like your body won't chill for nothing. Like,
Right.
I remember, and I was telling Sakina, I was on my period last year. I was on my period from late September until mid-December.
Oh my goodness.
I've been there.
If it stopped, it would stop for like a day, maybe a day or two, and then it'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you looking at the dates and the times, and you like going by, you still
Sometimes you dread that period coming. You see that blood, you be like, man, this probably gonna be a long time.
And that's the other annoyance too. You don't know when you're gonna come on. Like you can't track like a person who has a normal period. You just go to the restroom and be like, damn, another pair of panties ruined.
Right. Oh, and let's not forget the heavy days where you gotta wear 2 pads and a tampon and still worry about it bleeding through.
It's a pain. It's a big pain. And then me and Sakina talk a lot about like cravings or like mood swings that you get, like those PCOS mood swings.
I got hookfish and chicken on the way right now.
I'm coming over.
Yeah, it's annoying. That's like my stepson. I'm up for shaving. He was like, "You got hair on your face?" I'm like, "Dude, mind your business."
Right.
Like I know I'm growing a whole chin strap right now, right? Like just mind your business.
And shaving it makes it worse.
It does.
Yes.
And my friend has it too. She just recently got diagnosed with it. So she does like a nair or wax or something, which I ain't got there yet. I'm like, oh man, I got a high tolerance for pain.
I don't even be wanting to let it grow out that much. Like, how do you even let it grow out that much to the point where you can wax it?
Excuse me.
You know what's sad about it is that I got gray hairs and I'm starting to see gray, and I'm like, is that a gray? Like, shit, are you serious? Like, on my chin now?
Nair is a joke for me. Like my body, my skin is like, what is this? Like my hair be like growing through. It don't care about no nair or nothing. Like nair does not work for me at all. It's a joke. The best thing that works. I mean, you have no choice but to shave, even though that's not the best thing to do. But
Right.
the best thing that I found is getting threaded.
Oh,
That's
really?
the best. Yeah, because it'll
Oh.
actually grow less
Okay.
once you
Okay.
consistently go and get threaded. The hair will stop because they're ripping it out of the root, pretty much.
Right.
Like it's coming out the root, and it's not because shaving is just hitting the surface.
Yeah, just the surface.
Yeah, so like it's ripping up, it's messing up the skin and all of that stuff. But if you go and get threaded, it's painful a little bit. It ain't bad, but
I almost fell asleep in the chair when I did it one time.
I'd be crying sometimes. It depends on how emotional I am. Some days I'd be like, why do I have to deal with this?
Man.
I'd be so emotional for no reason. Oh my gosh. So then, like, how did the infertility aspect of things, how did that affect you? Like, were you cool with it? Were you like, I don't want no kids anyway? Did it really stress you out?
I was devastated.
Yeah.
I was devastated. I was in a deep depression for a very long time. And then watching all my friends having kids, and it was hard. It was really, really hard. On top of like my miscarriages and stuff. It was really, really hard.
Yeah. Monique, how did you deal with that part of it?
Well, before I found out, I had 2 kids already, but it still affected my ability to have children because I tried for like.
You're breaking up a
5
little
years.
bit, babe.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my kind of, yeah. But so I have 2 kids. I have 3 now, but when I was trying, it was like try as you might, it still ain't gonna happen. It was like 5 years before I just had my son. But it definitely was toll. I had a miscarriage 2 years ago, which is one of the reasons why, or how I found out I had PCOS, because when I went to get, after they checked up before having a miscarriage, that's when I had a conversation about me having PCOS. But it still was bothersome because I wanted more kids, and the fact that I couldn't get pregnant, even though I tried to do the tracking and ovulation, even though I never know when I ovulate because I didn't know I was pregnant with this last one because I didn't have a period. So, which is weird to me, but I guess that's how the body works. But it was hurtful until I had my son. But even still, it's like, it's going to be another 5 years before I have another child, or what? It's just disheartening not knowing your body's works because you can't track it like quote unquote normal people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how Chris and I was like. It was emotional, like because I have stepsons, so it was just like emotional, like I was like, I wanted, we're getting married, I wanted to, have a kid, and then we both were trying, and like we was arguing. It got to the point we were just arguing with each other. It was just emotional, and like we talked about fertility treatments, but then eventually we kind of just was just like, you know what, the Lord wants this to happen. It'll happen, and it happened like right after we decided to like.
Once you give it to the Lord.
As soon as we was just like, you know what, if this happens, it'll happen, and it happened. But for years, like we were just emotional at each other's throats, and then you start to feel like that you're not a woman, like you just feel like man, I can't produce a kid, like it's just. Especially when y'all trying to have a family, it's just like, I can't, like, you just started feeling like you just not a woman, and it just like you feel less saying? Less than, you know what I'm saying? And it was very bothersome. Like, and I was just like, we got to the point where we talked about adoption at one point. Like, we were just like all over the place. But like I said, we eventually were just like, you know, if it happens, it happens. And then it ended up happening. But like, it took like 8 or 9 years before it happened. But I mean, I guess it was just like, the Lord was like, all right, it's my timing, not yours. You know, so, I mean, yeah, but you feel some type of way. You really do. And then like you said, some people might not want kids, so they might just be like, all right, I can't have none. I ain't want none anyway. And others are just like, nah, like, you know, I want a family. So,
yeah. I had always planned to have kids when I was in my like late 20s, early 30s. So like I never wanted kids earlier. I always like kind of had that goal of doing it like a little later. So then when it came down to it being later and it's like, oh, now you may not be able to have none, it's like, okay.
Right.
What you mean though?
Right. Like, oh, that's not an option? Oh, hold on. Wait. You just changed the whole game with me right now.
For
I
real.
gotta figure something else out.
And so it hits me every so often, especially like around the holidays where you really just want your own family. So it'll hit me around that time where it's like, dang. And then I work with kids and you see people just doing anything with their kids, not even raising them, leaving them places, abandoning them.
Yep.
Yeah. You just be like, well, how come I couldn't? Or,
right. You got people out here killing people. Y'all hear about that Lovely, what's her name? Lovely something, where she was talking about how she was abusing her daughter. Like, how does a person like that get to have kids?
Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy when you really think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm trying to like reach a point of contentment, so that I'll be cool either way, because I still don't know whether I ovulate or not.
Okay. Yeah.
So I still don't know, but I want to be in a good headspace either way. Like I don't want to be like in a space of like, you know, just feeling empty or like, you know, like I'm less of a woman.
I just recently got to that point. You know, like I said, I was diagnosed back in 2008. So I've been dealing with it for a long time. And it took a long time for me to get to the point where I am now, where it's like, okay, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it really like shaped my whole experience of life. You know, it was like, without a child, like ain't nothing. I could strive for whatever I want, but that's not going to be worth it to me. Because I always wanted kids. So I said to myself last year, I was like, you know, you got to be okay with it either way. You got to be okay with life, and you got to be able to move forward, you know. So just last year, I just got to this point. But yeah.
It's definitely something I'm still working on. Like I said, some days I got it, I'm like, life ain't so bad. And the other days I'm like, why me, Lord?
You know what? You know what? And then I like after we was trying, I blamed the birth control pills. I was like so mad. Like I got on initially, you know, because my mom put me on the regular, but then you know eventually I became sexual. So I'm like, I did all these years protecting myself not to have a kid. Now I'm trying to have one, and the motherfucker is coming. Like I was this. Like I'm not even taking these damn pills anymore. Like what's going on? So yeah, but yeah. It's you do have to.
No, I find myself. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say you definitely do have to like be with peace within yourself. You do have to find it and strength yourself to. Yeah, because I was there because I was just like, all right, this 2 years went by, 3 years, 4 years. So I was like, okay, maybe this is not gonna happen. And that's why I said we just let go. Like you know, if it's meant, it'll happen. And yeah, you do have to dig down and be like.
You got to have that talk with yourself.
Yeah, you do.
And with God.
And with God, absolutely.
Like we want another one and it ain't happened. Lovely about to be 5 this year. And like now, right now, I'm just kind of like, I told
Oh,
her,
girl, I got some resources for you, baby. Got some resources. I've been doing my research, man. I know there's a lot I know about this condition because I've had it. You know, I've had it so long. But I got some resources.
Okay, because I told my husband, I was like, I'll be 37. I said, if this child don't come by 40, I was like, we'll have to wrap it up because I won't be an empty nester. I'm not about to be 60 with a 5-year-old. Like, we're not doing this. No, Lovely, get yours out the house. And then the second one you go to, because mommy and daddy's about to draw our time. I don't got this to do. I was like, so they better come quick.
Hey, Sherelle, did you see that picture I sent you the other day with that testimony? Send her that. Send her that, because that lady, that's the one I was telling you about. There's a lady, she's a doula, and she people drink like teas that she provides, and a lot of people have been getting pregnant off of these teas.
Okay. I'm like the one drop.
We gonna share those teas in just a second.
I got you. Matter of fact, I got one downstairs. Let me turn my camera around and go down and get it.
So while Sakeen is doing that, I'm gonna share some celebrities that actually have PCOS. Jillian Michaels, Leah Michelle from Glee, Victoria Beckham. I know Chrisette Michelle. Chrisette Michelle has it. Let's see. Shouldn't have opened this up. I don't know who this person is. Emma Thompson. Who else? Some of these people, I don't know who they are, but I definitely know who Emma Thompson is. These are some of the actresses who are dealing with PCOS. I know I saw Chrisette Michelle, and she actually was able to turn hers around. She went on a plant-based diet and turned hers around.
Yeah, I've been trying to go on a plant-based diet for years. Monique, haven't I been talking about that since forever?
I've researched.
I ain't even tried. I'm a straight carnivore. I don't even know how that would work. I would be over here dying from malnutrition.
Wow.
It's called Fertile Mama Tea.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I need that in my life. I definitely need that.
And then
You can't hear you.
I muted it. I muted it, sorry. I also have some natural, vitamins and stuff that I take every day that actually stemmed 2 regular periods back to back in March and April. And they were 7 days and they came spontaneously. So whenever we ready, when we at that point, I'll bring them out.
Well, break them out. We here, girl. You showed the fertile tea.
All right, give me 1 second to get them together.
All right.
All right, got that. All right. It might take a while, y'all, so. Because I got a lot.
Let us know. Let us know.
Is that all of them? Yeah. Let me see. Okay. So now there's Vitex, and Vitex comes in like a tincture form. I guess that's what it's called, with the droplets. It comes in that form, or it comes in a pill. This helps regulate. This is what helped me regulate my the periods that I had in March and April. And then there's also raspberry red leaf tea. But this comes in a pill form. It comes in tea form too. So you can drink it or you can just take the pills. I prefer the pills to get it over with. And I can't find my other one, but it's called Yoni Cleanse. And it helps just to cleanse the it comes in a pill form and it cleanses your system or whatever. So yeah, I take that.
There's this book called Woman Code.
I'm reading it.
I'm in the process of reading it too. My friend shared it with me for a lady who has she had polycystic ovarian syndrome. Let's see. Founder and CEO of Flow Living, forwarded by Christine Northrup, MD. But so far, I haven't finished it. So far, it's a really good read. I enjoy it because I forgot to mention one of the biggest symptoms of polycystic ovarian syndrome: stubborn belly fat.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Or just fat in general.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so hard to lose weight. Like it goes away and then it comes back. Like
Yes, you lose it, it comes back. I know. I sat there. I started these dietary supplements last week. It's been a week I've been on them. It's supposed to help with losing weight or whatever. I worked out. I got on the scale. I was like, only 1.5 pounds. What? I've been sitting here sweating. But it's a 30-day supply. I'm not gonna give up. So I'm like, only 1.5 pounds. I feel like I've been doing the most. Like,
Right.
It's like hard. I was doing intermittent fasting, and the first time I did it, my stomach was going down, everything was going well. Second time I did it, my stomach was not moving, and I'm like, bro, what's going on?
I do intermittent fasting too. I do that too.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah.
So there's that. I forgot to mention that, and I forgot to also mention what it does with it makes you insulin resistant.
Yes.
So I don't know if any of you ladies are dealing with that, but like I was pre-diabetic for a long time, but I literally just crossed over into diabetic range, like about a week or two ago. But I keep teetering back and forth between pre-diabetic and diabetic ranges. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research. But is that because is the stubborn weight loss? Is that due to like the cravings that you're having?
Oh, it's possible.
It's from the insulin resistance, from what I read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I've been a pre-diabetic for years myself too.
Me too.
And I was taking metformin for a minute, but I started I've been trying to research more because I haven't really dug deep into it. But I don't like taking pills and stuff. Like I'll take vitamins and stuff, but I'm just like I need to find something to do this naturally. Like I don't want to take metformin for the rest of my life. So, yeah, I've been a pre-diabetic for years.
The Vitex will help with that.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
So Sakina had been doing a lot of research, and she hit me to some stuff that I didn't know. Just recently, breaking down the whole thing about the egg and the follicles and releasing of the egg when you have polycystic ovarian syndrome. You break that down, Sakina.
Okay. So every month, a woman's eggs, they mature, and when they get to the maturing stage, you ovulate. It goes down the tube. Well, ours never mature. they just fill up with fluid. That's why it's called polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Yeah.
So
Now,
we have polycystic ovaries.
Now, do y'all? I didn't have cysts on my ovaries. Did y'all?
Yes,
I did.
my ovaries look like a chocolate chip cookie, and that's one of the biggest symptoms of having, or one of the biggest telltale signs.
Yeah,
but I did hear that you can have it and you not have any cysts.
Because I had one. They did see one that was like the size of my ovary, but it was benign, just not cancerous or nothing. But no, I didn't have it. But all the other symptoms that I had is how they diagnosed me. But yeah, I know that is one of the biggest symptoms too, is having your cyst on your ovaries.
And once they look at your ovaries, then that's it. Like, you don't have to keep going back and looking at them, which is something I spoke to my doctor about. Because I'm like, is this something I need to be kind of like keeping an eye on, managing, you know? And she said, no, you know, they'll look at your their ovaries at one time, and you pretty much have what you have. But I did hear that it can be reversed with diet. So
plant-based diet.
It can be reversed.
I love my meat too. I love my chicken and my fish.
Y'all see what I'm eating right now, right?
What you eating?
Pork, fish, and chicken fries.
I'm like,
because that's the other thing, like you mentioned, like we mentioned briefly before, cravings. Like, I crave sweets, sugar, I crave carbs. I'm craving these things. So it's so hard because your body's like, give it to me now.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you don't have it, all hell might break loose.
Right.
Because then that's when the mood swings come about. And I don't know about nobody else, but I be getting on my own nerves being moody.
Our nerves though. Like,
super moody. So this little article, it's not long. It has like the 4 types of polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Oh, okay. No, that's something new. I didn't know there was 4 types.
Yeah, I just recently found out by researching. I didn't know there was multiple types. I was like, I just thought it was just the one. But
right?
Yeah. It says there are 4 types of PCOS. One is the insulin resistant one. The other one is inflammatory PCOS. There's another one called hidden cause PCOS. And there's another one called pill-induced PCOS. So I'm
pill-induced.
Wow.
Yep, I'm about to open this up and see if I can get a little more information on the types. I know for sure that, the insulin reduced one is for sure one that I struggle with.
Yeah.
Now I found another article, and this is saying there's 6 types. Now let me open this up.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so number 1, insulin resistant type. It says with insulin resistant PCOS, you have a decreased ability to properly manage your blood sugar. Too much insulin can impair your ovulation and tells the ovaries to produce more testosterone instead of estrogen. It also stimulates your pituitary gland and makes more luteinizing hormone. Balancing blood sugar is very important here with the insulin resistant type of PCOS. So that's 1. Inflammatory type. With inflammatory type, you can see just that, inflammation in the body. Signs in the body of inflammation include digestive tracts, like issues like IBS, unexplained fatigue, headaches, joint pain, skin conditions like eczema or psoriasis.
I've been having all of those symptoms.
I've been having some issues.
The inflammation in the body.
I didn't know nothing about that.
Neither did I.
That is crazy because I was sitting there like, wait a minute, I've been having some issues.
Right. You know the internet is crazy. It make you think you got every darn thing.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're dying. That's the first thing I do. I start having to Google it. I'm like, I don't know why I'm Googling. My ass is dying anyway.
Everything.
I Google everything.
And it has for the inflammatory type of PCOS, there's also food sensitivities. And you can test a marker called high sensitivity C-reactive protein to check the level of inflammation in your body if you suspect you may have inflammatory type of PCOS. Number 3, post-pill type of PCOS. Post-pill. If your periods were normal before taking hormonal birth control, and now you meet with the diagnostic criteria of PCOS, you may have the post-pill type of PCOS. If you had experienced PCOS, some symptoms before going on the pill, but never received a formal diagnosis, it's possible you had polycystic ovarian syndrome before going on the pill. So this is, you took the pill and now you got symptoms.
And man, I wonder if that's, okay.
And then this one is adrenal type of PCOS. It's number 4. It says if DHEAS, I don't know what that is. We'll have to look that up. Is your only high androgen, this can indicate an adrenal type of PCOS. As DHEAS is your adrenal androgen, testosterone is produced in the ovaries. With this, one, you want to check your prolactin levels and to rule out another condition that presents similarly to PCOS called non-classical congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Ooh, Lord.
I gotta look that one up.
This one is new to me. The adrenal type of PCOS is driven by an abnormal stress response versus an impaired insulin or sugar response, as seen in the insulin resistant type of PCOS. So that's number 4. Number 5 is called hidden cause type of PCOS.
Okay.
Other drivers other drivers that can result in a hidden type of PCOS include thyroid disease.
Okay.
Yeah,
because of hypothyroidism affects ovulation and can worsen insulin resistance, deficiencies in vitamin D, zinc, or iodine. Because your ovaries need these nutrients or elevated prolactin, because it can decrease in DHEA. With these hidden drivers, once you fix the root cause, your symptoms should improve pretty quickly.
I have a vitamin D deficiency too.
So do I.
I have a vitamin D. My doctor wants me to take vitamin D. Yeah. Interesting. Like I'm like,
number 6 is the last one, lean type of PCOS. While weight struggles can be a symptom of PCOS, especially with insulin-resistant type of PCOS, it's entirely possible to have lean type of PCOS in a lean body as well. And that's all it says for that one.
Okay.
I know somebody who had it that was small.
Okay. Well, it says that you can definitely overlap symptoms that cross various types, so don't get too attached to one specific type of PCOS.
Yeah, because you gotta name some stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, some of this is a
Right. Right.
I don't know if you ladies know, but for like the inflammatory part, I've been taking turmeric.
Okay.
That helps with inflammation. And
How do you take it? Are you taking pills or how are you taking it?
I put it in my food. I've been doing my food like spaghetti. I've been cooking my ground meat. Really have it. It has a taste, but you're not supposed to use too much of it.
Turmeric.
Mm-hmm.
How does it taste?
I don't know how to describe the taste. It's let me tell you. I don't know how to really describe it. It has a weird, very unique taste. It. I don't know. It tastes like a penny.
Like a penny?
How do you know what a penny tastes like?
Listen, I was a child.
See, what happened was
it's a unique taste, but it's not overbearing or anything. Like, you mix it in with your food, you'll be okay. Because I know a lot of the Indian culture, they use turmeric.
They use a lot of
turmeric.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really good for inflammation and to build your immune system. So I've been trying to use that, and it helps. Also, ATV.
I've heard of turmeric before. But I couldn't decide how I wanted to use it. So it's cool to see somebody actually using it regularly.
Yeah. I don't know if the pill form tastes like, but if you put it in your food, you're not going to taste it, especially with the other spices that you use.
That makes sense. You can season your food up with it, and then you
Yeah.
might not even know that it's there.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Do you guys tell like the men in your life about your struggles with polycystic ovarian syndrome, or do you just kind of deal with it yourself?
I used to, and then I just stopped.
What made you stop?
I got tired of explaining that to people, and then they didn't stay around, and I was just like, forget it. Like, there's no point.
You know what? I thought about some. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, I've mentioned it to my ex-husband before, and he was just like, oh, well, don't claim things, and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, but I have all the symptoms. I'm not claiming it necessarily, but how else can you explain why I haven't been able to have a child in so long, or my period is so random, or all the other symptoms, the hair, everything else, like, he wasn't really understanding of it. So I was just like, whatever, I'll do it. I would have joined groups on Facebook, and he wanted me to lead the groups because I would mention something like, hey, well, this person said, I mentioned, one-on-one time as some type of cure, but
Oh, we can't hear you. Are you using your phone?
using this, my head, I'm just unplugging my head.
Try it without the headphones.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mentioned one thing about someone mentioning marijuana as some type of coping mechanism. He was like, see, those people in those groups give me ideas. I'm like, oh, just look at the group thing. Does it seem to help her? But he just wasn't really understanding of it.
Oh,
So that's like, okay, whatever.
That's another annoyance too. Like, we've had friends and stuff over the years prior to having Lovely where they'd be like, y'all ain't trying to have kids, like y'all ain't having, and they don't mean no harm, but that's another situation like with how you pronounce your name again? Sorry. Your friend. No.
Sakina.
Yes. That's another thing. Like what you said, you get tired of explaining it over and over again. Like we just had to keep telling people, like, we try to have a kid. you know what I'm saying, I have PCOS and I have to explain to him what that means. And it's just like, it's just, it like you said, I just stopped. I'm just like, but you know, and like people don't mean no harm. Your friends and family don't mean no harm, but you know, just keep asking over the years, like, y'all ain't trying to have kids. Why ain't y'all got a kid yet? It's just kind of like, it's just like,
yes.
kumbaya.
Right.
So yeah, it does. You get annoying. You just be like I'm done explaining this.
Or like people thinking that you did something righteous because you don't have kids.
Yes.
It's like, bruh.
Or you can do more than they did because you don't have kids. I used to get, oh, well, you ain't got kids, so you can do that. Like, listen, you don't even know how that makes me feel, so.
Yeah.
They don't know how sensitive it is of a topic for you. Or even like for me, because I'm in the spotlight performing and stuff, people always think that they can say something to me about my weight. And it's like, me losing weight is not the same journey as
a regular person. Right.
Yeah.
That is true. That's true. Yeah.
So that's the hard part, dealing with that.
And then plus that's insensitive too. Like, oh, look, woosah. Like that.
They don't realize. They think they're like
got people that I know who are, that they're like, or I have like people that I know now who are in the gym and they are losing, and they're just like, why are you losing so much weight? You were getting too skinny, and like that's insensitive too. Like maybe they're doing it for their health. Like, are you serious? Like, I mean, like what the comment like. like I mean, want to jump in people's comments and just cuss people out. Can't do that.
Yes.
But yeah, that's insensitive too. Like, just.
Or like, if they said something to you about your facial hair. Like I remember when I was a kid, this lady from church was like, well, facial hair, that's sexy, people. And I didn't even, at that time, I was so young, I never even paid much attention to my facial hair. I ain't gonna say I didn't know I had it, but I didn't know it was something that other people would feel any kind of way about or anything. Like, so now you got this as like I'm paying attention to it now.
Right.
It's on my radar now.
Right.
And so it's like people always think they can, or the minute they get up, like, I work with teenagers, so the minute they get mad at you, they feel like they're gonna throw that at you. That's why you got a beard. Like, okay.
Like I've been here, like it's been here. Yeah, like this is not hurting me. But yeah.
I done been there. I worked through that issue.
Right. We've tell me something I don't know. I already see this every day.
Right.
I will say though, I was showing Sakina some ways to kind of conceal this area. So threading, I would say of all the different hair removal ways, to me and for me, in my experience, threading is the best. It smooths out the skin. There's no like scarring after. Then it doesn't, once you do it regularly, it doesn't grow back as fast. That's my thing. But then the other thing is I get a color corrector because my problem areas are right here. I get a color corrector, and the color for, like, if you're African American and you're trying to cover up dark areas, the color you want to look for is orange. So an orange color corrector that goes right here, you let it dry, and then you can cover it up with your foundation after it's dried in. But you want to wet your foundation sponge, you wet it, and then you blot it in.
Okay, yeah.
With your foundation color, and then that always smooths out my complexion when I'm trying to hide those problem areas. Trying to think, is there any other things we want to add in?
I think we covered a lot of it.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Really covered a lot of it.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot too. Shout out to any viewers that watch this. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, please write them down below. Any comments, write them down below. And we could come back and answer some questions for you. But I just felt like it was important for us to come together and talk about some of our experiences. Because they're different. They're the same, but they're different. Each
Absolutely.
has their own set of symptoms that they're dealing with, that they're trying to manage and get through. And I think that's it.
And also,
I just want to say,
women,
sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead.
And also, there's a lot of women who probably have these symptoms and never even heard of it. Like we went through for years, had symptoms and didn't even know nothing. So there's probably a lot of women who are undiagnosed right now who are like, man, wait a minute, I'm having this, that, and the other, you know, and never even heard of it.
Yeah.
So Monique, I wanted to say, you know, anybody out there who doesn't have hope, Monique actually just had a baby. Monique, how old is your baby?
3 months.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So she actually gave me hope.
You definitely gave me hope.
Yeah.
I know my doctor told me, like, if I wanted to try, they would have me try for 6 months to see if I ovulate, and then I would have to start meeting with the doctor to get going as far as ovulation goes, in order to have a child. Is that the same process you went through, Corinne?
Yeah, she had they had put me on metformin before. This was before the insulin, like, you know what I'm saying, me knowing about my me being pre-diabetic. That was one way she was trying to regulate my periods. But I took them for like 3 or 4 months. She was like, this should regulate, you know what I'm saying? We'll see what happened. And then she was like, we'd go from there. But it didn't regulate. I was just like, so yeah. So I was just like, they still ain't regulate. So, but yeah, they told me to try by myself first for X amount of months, and then we go from there and start trying other measures. But eventually I was just like, if it happens, it happens. Like, no, I'm not trying to do all this. Like, I really wasn't trying to go through all that. I was just like, I was tired. I was exhausted. Like I said, Chris and I was head to head. We was arguing, and I was just like over it. I was like, I'm just done. You know,
that adds on more stress. Like, doctor's appointments, and you're so just over it, and it's like your body's like, I don't even want to, but when you stop trying, it's like, okay, your body's relaxed enough, so to speak, to try. Because I was trying, like, to the day, like, okay, I think I'm ovulating, because I ain't never done. Even with me having periods, I never knew if I ovulated or not. Because I would try, okay, this is like quote unquote fertile window, and nothing happened. The next thing you know, boom. like I said before, I didn't even have a period before I got pregnant with my son. So that was me. Last like July, I was pregnant in October. So it's all a guessing game.
I do have a question. Was it like a normal pregnancy for you guys?
Actually, you know what? Everybody would think that my pregnancy was like great. Like, I gained 8 pounds the entire pregnancy. I pushed 3 times. She was out. My water broke week 37. She was like 2 weeks early, 2 or 3 weeks early. But like my water broke naturally. Like, everybody was just like, you didn't gain no weight. Like, what in the world? Like, it was good. Like, it was good. Now I think if I get pregnant again, it's gonna be the complete opposite. I think the Lord bless me. I think He gonna curse me. Because it did. Like I my water broke. I was having contractions. I didn't feel nothing. It broke like 7:30 in the morning. From 7:30 until they got me in. I went to the hospital. They got me in a room, and then they put me in Pitocin. But when they put me on Pitocin, that's when the contractions started coming back to back. Like, and the woman who I had as a nurse, she was retiring, but she was sweet as pie. She kept turning the medicine up, and I'm like cussing underneath my breath, like I wasn't yelling. I was just like, oh fuck. But like the first, like all that morning, like I was just laughing in the bed and stuff. She was like, you're having heavy contractions, and I was like, I'm not feeling nothing. They put me on that Pitocin, it was a wrap. I was like, oh, I shut up real quick. But my pregnancy was cool.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it was.
Mine's pretty similar. I gained, I think, 11 pounds my whole pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
They had to break my water, and he was 37 weeks. But throughout the pregnancy, what they said, my A1C was 6.4, I think, which is like right at the borderline for pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
They were monitoring my whole pregnancy and had me to take more ultrasounds and more appointments and more this and more that. And stress tests or non-stress tests for the baby for me. And I was just like over it, like, but it's a better safe than sorry, I guess. But yeah, like when I started having contractions at like, when it's like 6, 7 in the evening, they go to the hospital till about 1 something and a half, and at 3:17 in the morning. So it was, well, I think I got to the hospital like 2, but they said that it was like 45 minutes from the time I got to the hospital to the time he was delivered. So it was pretty, actually in the beginning of the pregnancy it was kind of difficult. I had to go into the ER because I was having miscarriages, but I had like really big clots. I'm still convinced to this day that there was a twin. How big the one size came out. This blood clot. It was like it probably was another baby. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. How I took her to the hospital and everything, crying, thinking I lost my baby, but when I got the ultrasound, she was like, well, there the baby is. And I'm like, well, what the heck did I pass? Because it was that big. It was a crazy few weeks, up to like 12 weeks. And then after that, things settled down and it was pretty normal pregnancy after that.
You know what? She brought up a good thing, something else that I forgot about. When I first found out I was pregnant, like the first 5 months, I was spotting. So I was going to the ER a lot too because I thought that I had a miscarriage. I kept spotting and they're like, no, she's fine. But I kept spotting. And I'm just like, I thought she wasn't supposed to bleed during pregnancy. Like, what's going on? But it just kept going. And like the first like 4 months, I just kept spotting. But after a while, I stopped because those little ER visits get expensive, and I'm like, well, I keep going and keep saying she's fine. So eventually I end up just stop going because I'm like, I'm sure she's fine. But yeah, like the first 4 months, I was just like, I kept spotting, and I'm just like, oh, and it was just scaring me because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm having a miscarriage, you know. But she was fine. But other than that, yeah, it was a pretty long pregnancy.
Well, congratulations, Monique, on your new baby.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, any final thoughts, ladies?
This was fun.
It was.
See, now Chris was downstairs doing the podcast, and he was loud. I wanted to be like, yo, shut the up. Because I was trying to go to sleep for work, and he was getting excited and was loud. I'm like, oh my God. But now I see why. This was really fun. This was fun.
It
was fun.
Yeah. It is fun. It is fun. And we may be back if we get a good response, or more things that we want to share as far as our journey, our PCOS journey goes, and we can definitely come back and just share more on our triumphs and trials.
Yeah. I got a lot of stories.
Right. Right. All right, guys. We have Monique. Thanks for joining us. We have Sakina.
Nice to meet you, Sakina.
Nice to meet you.
to my auntie.
Thank you, Sherelle. I appreciate it.
And I'm Sherelle. Guys, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Alrighty, we're out.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.